Welcome to the Founderville.vc podcast. So this is a podcast where we talk to founders, we talk to entrepreneurs, heck, we talk to anybody that just supports the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We're about learning lessons and getting information out of our guests that could be helpful for founders like you. Today, I'm thrilled to have a good friend of the podcast, a portfolio company of Founderville.vc, Mr. Adam Anderson, CEO, founder, chief threat captain of Threat Captain. Adam, welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Thank you for having me here. It is so much fun. And wow, you have a nice place.
Thank you. Thank you. I built this in my garage. I painted. These are my screens.
No, I can tell you put the effort in.
I put a lot of work into this. It took me about 2 years and just a subscription to the podcast studio.
That's all it took.
That's all it took.
That's it.
Once I toured the studio and they told me the price, I said, I think I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is a good thing for Founderville.
Yeah. You know what? I always think that you should make buying decisions based off of emotional.
Oh,
thing.
truly.
Yeah. Just add zeros.
Yes.
Write the check, baby.
Yes. No, it has to be an emotional decision. Otherwise, like, what's the point in doing it?
That's it. Actually, that's a rabbit hole.
We can skip that
There
one.
we go.
Yeah. Tell us about Threat Captain before we kind of go back in time. Like, what are you doing?
All right. So, I'll say the buzzwords first.
Yeah.
So, SaaS
Please.
platform. We do financial impact analysis, and we use the actual cost of a cyber breach to enrich sales data. So, my target customer is an IT provider who sells cybersecurity, but struggles with that whole business justification. So, the real problem is what I call the sticker shock problem. I'm the nerd who lays out why you should be safe. I don't connect the dots to how that affects the business. And when the technology provider shows the price tag, the business side of the house says, I don't understand what I'm buying. I'm not going to spend that money. So that's what Threat Captain helps with. We overcome financial objections to cybersecurity purchases.
Got it. How did you, as the company evolved since you started? In other words, when you formulated the idea and then were crazy enough to like jump in the pool with both feet, what's happened since that time? Well,
so we started the company, my co-founder Brad and I, because we had another cybersecurity company and we saw the problem with sales. And so we were like, well, we should start a professional services company where we do tabletop exercises and we can help be that financial translation part. And so we started as a professional services firm because I wanted to get that bag.
Yeah,
I wanted that.
Right. Somebody pay me.
That's right. I was like, we should just charge a ridiculously large amount of money for me to show up and say things.
Right.
But we actually, I knew that my tabletop exercises and presentations were going to fall flat if I didn't have financial information. So we turned around and we bought some IP. It was called Red Pill, and we're going to buy that, and we incorporated it into our presentations.
Okay.
And it hurt my feelings because after I did a great job with these tabletops, they're like, oh, Adam, thanks for being here. What was that tool you used?
Yeah.
Can we get a look at that? And so unfortunately, we had to start another SaaS company. And that was really interesting going from what are we doing here? Are we going to not raise any money? Are we going to cash flow from our customers with big checks? Or is there a problem big enough to solve where it justifies us going after raising some money and building a SaaS company? And when you think that the problem we're solving was all sales in all of cybersecurity, we're like, I think there's something there.
There's thousands, tens of thousands of MSPs. You sell through MSPs, IT directors, whatever they frame themselves up as. When did you make the shift to where you decided to raise capital? And then what did that feel like? Because you were thinking, hey, services, pay me, we'll be bootstrapped, we'll cash flow this thing. What?
It came to the software development cost.
Yeah.
So and
this is pre-AI.
This is pre-AI, kids. We had to hire humans.
Wow.
So
Did actually type?
They did. Well, not well. No, allegedly. The problem is that developers seldom move at the speed you want them to. And it's always very frustrating. And I think that has been one of our major pain points is moving from humans writing code to agentic factories producing results managed by humans. But yeah, that was our real big, we got to raise money. So I had an exit earlier with my first company, and I used that to bankroll another company, and then that one. And so we got to the point where I was like, I can't keep just putting actually, let me tell you the truth. My wife said, we can't keep putting our money in.
Do you realize the bank balance?
Yeah,
it's going backwards.
She's like, hey, remember the time where the money would go up?
Yeah.
You're riding like the ski slope on the way down.
This is not good.
Yeah, let's go hockey stick, not ski slope. So that was the big thing is like we looked at cost of building the product. We were still owner-led sales. We were still doing all of the things. We had a real tight team. But as we began to get traction with the product and we realized for our ideal customer, we had to show up at conferences. We had to show up in person.
It's expensive.
So the first round of funding really was pay for the first generation of the product and to go out and get our first, bunch of clients. And so that was, I think, we raised something like $250K to kind of start doing that.
Right.
And as we began to get traction, we've really had to raise alongside. And it's real tough because, if you raise money as you need it, it's efficient use of your equity.
Yeah.
However, you're always raising money.
You're always out of cash. Yeah.
So it's psychologically traumatic to spend every day wondering if you're going to pay your people next week.
Yeah. No, that's stressful.
Yeah. So it's but that's kind of that's kind of where you have to sit for a bit because you can't actually go. Well, you can. You can go raise a whole bunch of money and then not know what you're going to do with it and just burn it out.
I think it's harder to do that in, I hate to say it, but in the Carolinas. Look, there's examples of companies that have been able to raise a lot of money, but the reality is I think it's super unfortunate. It's frustrating for all of us. It is really hard to get the attention of the Atlantas, the Raleighs, the Bostons, Chicago's, Dallas, Austin, whatever it might be. It's just hard to get.
Well, you're not going to get it with an idea. You're going to get it with velocity of growth.
Results.
That's it.
That's it.
So you got to do your seed round here, your pre-seed round, and you got to be capital efficient.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you're not going to get a whole lot of respect from the coasts, and the places that you said until you show that you've actually had some form of result.
You absolutely have to show results nowadays.
Oh,
there's no way around it.
And it's not just results. Like remember back in the day, if you hit $1 million ARR, you can okay, I'm ready to start talking about.
Absolutely.
No. Now it's did you hit 3 million ARR in less than 18 months?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a founder in today's environment.
Dude,
I really don't.
Same.
I mean, it's brutal. Because there's too many examples, even though there's just a handful of them. There these examples of 0 to 50 million, and it's craziness.
Well,
and they've raised 50 or 100 million.
And I'm not throwing shade at the VC world because their job is to get outside returns for their limited partners.
Yep.
So what are you going to put your money in? You're going to put money.
Growers.
That's it. So the founder has to understand the game they're in and not have an expectation that just because I made a really nice deck and I'm trying really hard and I need the money that it's going to come. What the founder needs to do is understand their cash position. So if I was to do something different, I would have not stopped doing the professional services.
Yeah, just continue.
I would have continued. Yeah, we're charging $10K a pop.
Yep.
I do 4 of those gigs a month.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I don't have to raise money.
You're paying for a couple of people.
So I'm a big fan. If you're starting a company these days, especially a technology company, start with some professional services.
All day long.
Yeah, because guess what? You're testing your product in
For
front
sure.
of, right? So before you have to give your product away, you get people to test it. No, pay your living wage through your professional services, get the cash flow rolling, and you're off to the races.
Totally agree. I mean, literally could not agree more. And the companies that I'm talking to that are doing that are the ones that are not stressing quite to the level of the pure SaaS and nothing else.
Well, we there's a lie that a lot of us have believed about professional services is that for some reason that's going to screw up my valuation.
Right.
So no, it won't. The worst case that will happen is you say, what is my revenue coming from project work versus what is my recurring? Right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just generating cash.
That's it.
This is how I'm funding the company.
Mm-hmm.
let's back up a little bit. I mean, you've done a number of startups because you're hard-headed and you just can't help yourself.
I must not be okay in my heart.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
there's something you're missing.
That's
Adam.
right. That's right.
How did you get here? I mean, I know,
Yeah.
like, tell us about Hook. Tell us about the previous companies. I mean, you've been around the block.
Yeah, so I started my first company that was successful when I was 26.
No kidding.
I was working at Royal Dutch Ahold, and we outsourced everything to EDS. And I went to my director, and I said, EDS is Hewlett Packard.
Yeah.
Never mind, this is a journey. And I said, what's my career path? And he says, oh, you don't have one. I was like, dope, can I get a...
Honest, that's nice.
Oh, yeah, he's a great guy. Paul Brooks. He's like, you don't have one.
Yeah.
And I said, cool. He's like, do you need a letter of recommendation? And I said, yeah. He said, do you want a job at IBM? I said, I sure do.
Huh.
And he helped me go get a job at IBM, and that was fantastic. And so Paul, loyal to his people, right? So I go to IBM, I'm a road warrior for a while. My golden retriever starts peeing on my couch.
Uh-huh.
That's a sign,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm back in town, and they used to pay me like $80,000, $90,000 a year to run their identity management environment at Ahold.
Okay.
So then they hired IBM to do the exact same job. Guess who they sent? So now
That's hilarious.
they're spending about $280 an hour
Yeah.
for me
And
to
you-
do the exact same thing that I
They're
was.
the customer.
Yeah. So eventually Paul's like, hey, buddy, are you tired of being on the road?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, I am. He's like, why don't you charge me $180 and start your own company? I said, okay.
Huh.
So I immediately did that. Remember, I'm a nerd, 26 years old, so I do that, and I'm positive I'm going to be out of business in 6 months. Well, 13 years later, I sell the thing. We were doing around $800K in EBITDA. It was when I first found out the no, actually, I think it was like $480 in EBITDA at that point. This is when I realized how exits worked.
Yeah.
I thought
learned.
I was like, I'm going to sometimes revenue. No, times your profit,
Times
bro.
EBITDA.
Yeah.
EBITDA, brother.
So, but when I was first trying to do it, I thought that I looked at what the potential for every one of my consultants, I had 25 or 20-ish consultants. I was like, all right, each one of these guys can make $1 million for the customer. So I was trying to sell my company for like $28 million.
Yeah, that wasn't flying.
And we were doing like $2.4 million in project. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Gotta ask.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah, this sounds like a good
well, and
number.
also I had huge customer focus. 90% of my revenue was coming from one whale. So
Oh, wow.
all just
Yeah.
they had a $9 million access management and budget, and I was making $3 million out of that.
Okay.
I thought I had a company. I had a client.
Yeah.
I did not have a company. So we exited to the people who had the other part of that budget.
Okay.
So there was an Amsterdam company called Secure IT. They were pulling in $6 million of that budget. I was pulling in $3 million of the
Yeah.
budget. They're like, why don't we just buy you and we'll take all that?
Right.
And I was like, peace.
This is neat. Yeah.
So I remember Rob Buss came in to Greenville. We're signing the papers. And I signed the last thing. And I was like, it's done. It's like, it's done.
Yeah.
It's like, the money's being wired. It's money's on its way.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, if there's any problems, don't you call me. And I ran out. I got in my car. And I was just so high on that
Yeah.
exit. And then by the time I got the car, I was miserable.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
crushed. I was
Nothing
like-
changed.
I was like, who the hell am I? I'm not what do I do now?
Now
Who
what
am
do I do?
Oh, my identity crisis. And so what I've been doing is, you got to work on that. And I went through a whole, that's a whole nother topic is entrepreneurial mental health. We can jump into there. But every company I've launched since then has been lessons learned on what was inefficient about the last company. I had customer concentration with the first company, so my next company had to have a whole bunch of customers.
Yeah,
so we did
yeah.
a SaaS product. Go to market was expensive and had friction, so we need to go and make sure we have better distribution. So I like the idea that my entrepreneurial journey has always been sharpen the knife,
I love that.
constantly
Yeah.
find out what caused issues with the last company, make sure we don't do that in the next company. Unfortunately, there's always new problems.
Always new problems, but I mean, you've been keen to, as you say, sharpen the knife, to take lessons learned and incorporate those into the next company. I've tried to do the same thing, but you're right. It's like every new company has its own whole new set of problems and
Yeah.
challenges that are. It's like, how did I not see that? Like, how did I not see that? How did I not, or did I just ignore it?
Well, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So there's something called cognitive dissonance, where your frontal cortex can only handle 128 bits of processing power, right? The amount that you have to deal with when you're a founder, you can only look at certain things, and so you don't have that wisdom until you've gone through a thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, what you think is the problem with your first company is not the problem. It is the people. It's how you communicate. It's your organization. It's being able to execute.
Yeah.
Because great ideas are worthless. It's can you do the thing?
Absolutely.
One of the things you have to give yourself. By the way, the thing that crushed me was the thing I was most proud of. I had 25 mortgages I was paying out of my first company. I love that, but then I kind of thought that was my responsibility.
Yeah.
And now when we start companies, I'm very transparent. It's like we're all trying to do something. It's very risky. It may not work. Yep. You might miss some payrolls. Don't work with me if that scares you away.
Look, I think that's a super fair approach nowadays. And it's like, look, you have to understand the risk you're taking with what we're building and what we're doing, because this is hard as shit. And it's going to take a lot of time and effort. And we're going to make mistakes, and unfair things are going to happen to us.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, equity's for me.
Yeah.
So let me be real clear. I think that equity has a place, but it's unfair to compensate somebody in a startup with equity if they don't understand these are lottery tickets.
Yeah.
Don't take less money for equity if you don't understand that if this company doesn't sell. So one of the other lies that we tell ourselves is if I give you some equity, we're aligned. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, an employee in a startup does not actually understand the value of the equity or even how to think about it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so I'm like, just let me pay you better.
Yeah.
Let me pay you less at the beginning. I'll pay you above market rate when we're actually making money.
Right.
But equity is the thing that I'm going to save for myself and for capital allocators.
So you don't use stock options?
Very, very rarely.
Yeah.
And if I do, it's because I only give stock options to somebody who has the power to drive real enterprise value.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
These are people who can drive us to an exit. If you have a developer who does a great job, they're not going to drive you to an exit. And so I would rather pay them more money in exchange for the risk that they're taking.
I got it. That makes total sense. Yeah. It's interesting, like the last 2 companies I did were employee owned. Mm-hmm. So I gave stock options to everybody. But you're right. I think I had a difficult time helping translate what that meant and what it was. And as much as I went through the financials every month with the entire team and everything else, it was like, I don't think they totally understand it. The company I'm involved in right now, there's employees with stock options that are 10 years old. And some have exercised them where they actually wrote the check.
Yeah.
Others haven't. The options got so old they expired, and we had to grant brand new ones.
Wow.
And I was like, we didn't see that one coming.
No, right?
But it's like year 1, year 5, year 7, year 10. Wait a minute, I've had these options 10 years, and I've never gotten anything from them.
Well, and then there's that taxable event.
Then it's got to be, for sure.
Yeah. So I had open books. So dealing with employees, I'm always wanting to be as transparent as possible because I think that works really, really well. But I want to be clear with as possible. So my first experiment was open book.
Yeah.
Anyone can go and look at my books.
Okay.
What a cluster. So I got the dumbest – I was just all day long answering questions, and people now had opinions. So I changed that. Okay. I said, I will pay for you to go to Greenville Tech to take Accounting 101.
No kidding.
If you get an A, then you have unlimited access to my books.
Ah.
I had 2 people do it.
Really?
Yep. Turns out if you have to work on it, maybe you don't care.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I've been building businesses at this point. I am absolutely happy to be fully transparent and bring you to every single conversation. But you have to be this big to ride the ride, and I don't actually have the bandwidth or the ability to teach you what you need to know.
Yeah, you don't have the time for that. You got 100 million other things going on. What was the next company? I mean, that sounds like a great experience.
Yeah, so that was Palmetto Security Group. We were Palmetto Software Group, but people thought we made mobile apps. And I was like, that's not helping my branding. So then I did a company called Atlas Vault. Awesome. We were a vendor risk management platform.
Okay. So still in security.
Still in security. I had like 30 companies that had been outside of like I did Kirch Cutlery. We hired the guy who did the weapons for Lord of the Rings to make knives for cutlery.
What?
Yeah. We were about to order like 60,000 knives from China.
Oh my
and I call
God.
up my business partner. I'm like, bro, I don't know how to sell knives. We're going to have Christmas forever. We're going to just handing out knives. There's a whole warehouse full of knives.
That's
we've done, orbital manufacturing, all the things, right? But what I've learned, and this is what my lovely wife said, her book, In Bed with the Business, The Entrepreneurial Spouse's Survival Guide.
Oh, wow.
Right? So she said, hey, buddy. I said, that's not a good opening.
Yeah.
She's like, which companies make us money? I said, the security ones. She's like, how about do that? So I was like, yes, ma'am.
I think I got it.
Yeah, I was like, cool. She's like, oh, you have hobby companies?
Yeah.
Because we were
Stop them.
Well, dude, I'm throwing off $800K in EBITDA a year in my late 20s.
Yeah.
No late 20-year-old should have that level of profit.
No.
So I'm just launching companies. I'm hemorrhaging cash. Now, when you say you got a street MBA, I probably should have just gotten a real one.
Yeah.
That would have been a hell of a lot cheaper. So we did Atlas Vault. We worked with Michelin North America on that one. I love my boy Tom. He was there, but he went to work for Milliken, and I lost my champion.
Ouch.
And, it was bam. So, that's one of the things I learned. Don't have single champions anymore. So then the next one we did Hook Security. That was still rocking and rolling. Zach Eichenberry is the CEO there. Cyber awareness training.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I found is a lot of the businesses that I was starting in cyber wasn't about the bit boop bops. It was about the human interaction with the technology or with the decision-making process around risk. So I really got into like psychological warfare. I got really into how do you build a human brain that resists manipulation, all those kind of things. So Hook Security's whole go-to-market was around training that actually worked because we're the only ones who did the research. I hooked brains up to scanners. We actually saw the electricity move around. Market didn't care. Our target market was like, we don't have the bandwidth. We just need to check the box.
Was that sold through MSPs as well?
That's right. That's where we learned real quick.
MSP channel.
MSPs are underwater constantly.
Yeah.
They don't have they're not going to sit down and explain the difference between these different products and why this one is superior because it actually helps the neurons and You know what? That's not what they're there to do. They're there. The client says, I need XYZ so I can do this and I need to be in the supply chain. What's the quickest, easiest thing you can get to? So the reason why our hypothesis was originally not the right one is we thought that the end client of the MSP was going to care about the quality of their training. And what actually was happening is that the end client of the MSP needed compliance so they can run their business.
They just need to check the box.
That's right. So one of the catalysts of starting Threat Captain was the reason why MSPs don't make a lot of money with cyber is that they're only selling to compliance levels, not to actual safety levels.
Okay.
So that kind of was a kick in our pants. Like, we got to help technology providers talk about the financial value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that was kind of cool. So that kind of moved us, okay, what is the problem with Hook Security? Well, we thought that effectiveness was going to be the message, but we're not communicating the value of effectiveness. It's like, so what? My people are trained better. What does that mean to my P&L statement and my balance sheet?
Right. It doesn't. They couldn't translate it anyway.
That's exactly it. So that's the catalyst for Threat Captain.
Okay.
It's like if we can solve that one problem, I can move from building a security company that sells one security control at a time, or I can build a security company that if they use it the right way, it helps them sell all of the security controls.
I think you're in a great position.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah. Do you think there's another one under your belt? Obviously you're totally focused on Threat Captain.
No. Yes, I know exactly what I'm doing after this one.
Do you? You have some ideas?
Yes, I'm never touching cyber again.
Really?
This is my, there's no bigger way I can have an impact than what I'm doing right now.
Got it.
Literally 70% of the world's population works for small businesses. MSPs are the only people who can reach small businesses.
Absolutely.
So if I can help MSPs sell cybersecurity better, and we move from 10 trillion plus in damages a year, and I have an impact of reducing that by a couple billion, that's fantastic.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
So I'm out. I'll be doing space entrepreneurship in my mid 50s. Is all going to be about. I'm 49 now.
Yeah.
I know you're looking at me as like, that guy's got to be 62. This is what entrepreneurship does to you. Yeah, so I'm all about new economies. I love the idea that we can build cash flowing space companies.
Yeah.
I like the idea that if you can identify a new source of capital and you can apply it to a new kind of business model, you can disrupt markets.
Yeah.
And if space isn't ripe for disruption, I don't know what is.
Well, it definitely is. I mean, we're getting ready to see the biggest IPO ever. It's going to be amazing.
Yep. And
The number keeps bouncing up. Now they're saying $2 trillion. It's like they don't have that much revenue, guys.
Well, 100% of every space company so far has made $0 in profit.
So there you go.
So, and the reason why is that most of these companies are based on funding from governments.
Yeah.
So until you have another customer base that can be profitable, then you don't move away from there. So
No.
that's what I'm obsessed about is how do I build new revenue streams for space where you can have customers that are not just governments.
It makes sense. Let's shift gears a little bit before we wrap up. I want to ask you about how you guys are incorporating AI now,
Oof.
and what
Yep.
separate the hype from the reality, particularly related to like development or just how a company like yours is utilizing different tools.
So I'll get right to it. There's
Yep.
two primary use cases in AI. The first one is helping me create my product faster and better. So we went from a developer typing on a keyboard to that same engineer running a factory of agents.
Okay.
And I said, you're not a developer anymore. You're a foreman of my factory.
Wow.
I still need your mind. I need the logic of product development and da-da-da-da. And I have a designer who works alongside my senior engineer, and she makes sure that the factory produces something beautiful,
Okay.
right?
I love that.
So that's my
analogy.
dev team. I have 2 people on my dev team.
Okay.
I now have an internal AI resource. All he does is look for inefficiencies in my company and crush it. Where's that manual process? We can fix that with AI.
Okay.
Where's this? Bam, 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 bam. So don't think of this as a person who replaces your MSP. This guy is not in charge about keeping my laptop secure. What he does is he says, I'm going to help you with your business intelligence. I'm going to help you automate things that are currently done by hand. And so what that means is that so I've got AI to help me with my product, and then I have AI to help me with my back office and my operations. It means I can scale quicker without increasing headcount,
Yeah, sure.
right? And so here's the beautiful thing about that. It's the number one problem. Well, not number one problem. A real big problem with scaling quick is you don't have the business systems to support that level of scale. Oh
Yeah,
my
sure.
gosh,
There's inefficient process everywhere.
and what we used to do is we hire headcount, and then you have to train your customer success people, and then that takes 6 months, and some are not good and some are, and so you've got this really, right? So now, by moving things more into an AI enabled, you can have your humans be so much more effective
Yeah.
without taking their jobs, and they just get to grow quickly. And so my punchline is this. I think it's completely reasonable for me to have $1 million of ARR per headcount.
God, I love that.
That's the whole punchline.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking back in Green Cloud. I think the highest we ever got was 350, 400,000.
Which is still great.
Annualized revenue, per
That's great,
headcount. Today, that would sort of get laughed at. It's like, what? No, you need $1 million. But I mean, that's doable. That's what's nuts now.
That's right.
That's like the biggest. I think that's the punchline of the whole deal. Is it's not about replacing jobs. It's about creating so much more efficiency. It's going to allow more companies to flourish as well because you don't have to raise as much capital.
You know what I'm going to do?
Still got to raise capital, but I mean, it doesn't have to be at the level that some of the companies are getting funded at today.
I think you're going to have a whole generation of companies that are seed strapped. I raise my seed round, I get to the engines running,
Yeah.
and then I'm able to be profitable and grow.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, like knock on wood. Let's fingers crossed, baby. This is what we want.
Well, it's the ability to having AI in my company for the business intelligence and being able to run models on pricing and to actually back it up with real data and da-da-da. My learning on as a CEO, you get all these data inputs, and I used to sit in all these meetings. I still learn that way. I still want to have a conversation like this. But now when we show up at the table, everyone has a wealth of data that they've already been able to ingest.
Yeah.
it increases the quality of the conversations where I'm making less mistakes. Or if I'm making mistakes, they're happening fast and I fix them
catch 'em.
super quick.
Yeah.
So I can't say enough about here's the last part. I know you feel like you're behind on AI.
Yes, don't we all?
I know you don't feel like you're doing a good enough job.
Yeah, that's right.
It's okay, baby girl. Just keep
It's
at it.
horrible out there.
Stop listening to the news.
Yeah.
Oh, so we actually adopted Lovable really early.
Okay.
That was our
Yeah,
first
no
AI.
kidding. All
Yep.
right.
So I was like, nope, I'm doing it myself, and I vibe coded up our next generation of the product. And I stuck with it for a while because I knew how to make the AI do what I wanted.
Yeah, you get used to it.
So it's now we're moved over to Claude, and guess what? We'll move to something different in a couple of months. And so release your emotional attachment to having to use the bleeding edge of AI.
Right.
You're fine.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
you're
think
just
you're
fine.
right. I've gotten used to it's literally I use Gemini for certain tasks, and then I use Manus. Manus I use a lot more for presentations, for deep research. If I want to go, hey, do a discounted cash flow analysis, here are the financials.
Yeah.
Manus is great for that. Gemini is great for other things. But I think you're right. I mean, there's so much pressure on people to you better understand it, you better learn it, you better use it. And I guess if I'm a recent college grad, well, yeah, I definitely need to know how to use it.
Sure.
And I better be able to articulate that in the interview, how I'm going to utilize it.
That's right.
And how I'll be more efficient that way. But yeah, these are certainly crazy times. There's no doubt about it.
The only thing that I would not negotiate on is you have to come up with a brain. So I use Obsidian, you use Manus. You have to have a central repository of the knowledge that's being gathered from your company. But have no emotional attachment to anything else. Because if you have a whole bunch of markdown files that tell everything about your company, about where you're going, what you're doing, have your financials in there, you can have AI look at that. The problem with AI is it lacks context for the conversation.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem anymore because you've got it all in one place.
Yeah,
so
it works.
if you're going to adopt AI internally, not product related, but internally, start with your brain. And everything else will flow.
I think that's a great feedback for sure. Tell me where Threat Captain's going to be in 3 years, and then we'll sign out. Exit.
10 million ARR. Oh, hell, hold on. My spreadsheets say 24 million. I'm sure that's going to.
I love the spreadsheet.
I have entrepreneurial pessimism.
As an investor, I'm happy to hear that.
I tell you what, the spreadsheets are glorious.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
But you should see the whiteboard. It's so good.
That's even better.
Yeah, but no, we're in a hyperscale phase, and so we're gonna add 10 million in ARR in 3 years. I'm very comfortable. Now, the only reason I'm comfortable with that is I believe in our distribution, and I believe that we've removed the friction points in our sales process. By doing that, you can actually forecast accurately. The last 2 years, brother, I was making it up.
Well, for
it's
sure.
all creative writing.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's all it is in the first couple of years for sure. There's no way around that. You don't have the data to back it up. You got to do the best you can.
Yep. Well, that's where we're going to be. We're going to be exiting, and I'll be putting a big chunk of money into the next Founderville fund.
You heard it here first. That was a commitment. I'm up to 19 commitments now on Fund 2.
Yeah. When I say a bunch of money, I mean like a handful of ones.
A handful of dollars.
That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.
We'll take your money. Don't worry. Oh Lord, this has been great. This has been as usual. It goes 45 minutes goes quick, but. Listen, thanks for coming out here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. You didn't know we were going to do this in person, so I appreciate you hopping in the car and driving out here.
This is so much better.
No, this is good. I like it.
This is a good call. Well, thank you for letting me be here.
No, absolutely. Adam Anderson, the CEO of Threat Captain, a definitely up-and-coming company and one that you don't know about. You need to check out because they're going to crush it, and we're fired up at Founderville to be a part of it. So this is Founderville.vc, and we are over and out.